Hi everyone, you're welcome to Kemafrik. My name is Kemi Omorugbe. I'll be teaching you how to make this beautiful fitted pants I have on. So this pant has a zipper fly, a pocket and a beautiful band. So I'll be teaching you how to put all of these pieces together. Please refer to my previous video where I taught how to draft on paper and to cut out your pattern on fabric. Now I'll just go ahead and sew all the pieces I've cut together from that video. This is our front and back piece. I have two pieces for the front and two similar pieces for the back. So I've gone ahead to attach a lining to mine. My lining is 1 inch shorter than the nail length. So if you're using a thick fabric, you may not need to attach a lining. Next, I went ahead to use my overlocker to overlock the edges. So you can go ahead and do same so you can have neat edges to work with. So I did that for the back and the front, and also for the pocket piece and the pocket facing. So here's the band. I went ahead to iron interfacing for each of the pieces. I used a thick paper stay, that's because I want a firm band. So each of the piece of the band has a hard paper stay on the wrong side. Now I'll be working on the front piece of our pants. With the right side facing each other, we'll be sewing in the zipper fly. So we'll start with a loose stitch from the top, and once you get to the hip line, you'll back stitch and continue on a normal stitch. Once again, loose stitch up to this point, then back stitch and continue with a normal stitch. That's because we'll be losing out the loose stitch to expose the zip after fixing. So that's exactly what I'm doing right now. Here's my zipper fly. I went ahead to iron it open and we'll be attaching the zip on that midline. So I'll be making use of this long zip, and that's because I don't have a short one available now. So we're going to face the right side of the zip against the right side of the fabric. Position the base of the zip just below the back stitch we did. And I'll be holding in the zip using my pin on one side, making sure that the teeth of the zip aligns properly with the midline of the zipper fly. Now I'm done pinning down my zip to the zipper fly, and this is the left, this is the right. So go ahead and sew on the right, attaching my zip to zipper fly. I'm going to sew a stitch close to the zip teeth. Note, however, that I'm sewing only on the zipper fly. I'm attaching the zip on the zipper fly and not on the main pants piece. Now I'm done sewing on the right side, and the next thing I'll be doing is to pull out the pins on the left. So that will allow me turn my zip around and top stitch by 1/8 of an inch. Watch this again. I'm just going to turn my zip around this way and top stitch. That's from the front of the fabric just beside the zip by 1/8 of an inch. Now it's time to work on the left side. Just the way we ran the first stitch, just beside the teeth of the zip, we'll do same on the left side. And I'm just turning my pant around so that it will be more convenient for me. So I'm going to sew close to the teeth of the zip by the left, from down upward. I'm sewing only on the zipper fly at this point, just the way I did the first step when we're working on the right. So right now, this is the front. Remember, we still have our loose stitch in place. So I'm just going to top stitch on the left. So we're going to top stitch by 1.5 inch from the top. You can take your ruler so you can mark a straight line down and just follow the curve of the zipper fly. You can feel the zipper fly underneath it. So we're working on the left zipper fly at this point. Now we're going to follow the curve of the zipper fly and we'll connect it below the back stitch at the midpoint, okay, to create that curvy fly look. So once I've marked this out, I'm just ensuring that my left zipper fly is in place, and I'll go ahead and sew a stitch following the curve I just marked out. The end of the curve is slightly tricky as you have to gently sew over the teeth of the zip. So once I'm done running that stitch down, I'm going to pull the right zipper fly over the left from inside, because we want to run another stitch which is parallel to the first one we created, just at the base of the fly. So you're going to leave that top of the zipper fly open, you come down at the base of the fly, that's the curvy part of the fly, and run another stitch about 1/4 of an inch away from the first one till you get to the midline. So that holds the right and left zipper fly together at the base, just at the base only. The next thing we'll be doing now is to pull out our loose stitch to expose the zip. So now you see the benefit of making that first loose stitch we created. So it will be easier for you to lose it out and you can have your zip opening. So here is the zipper fly looking clean and nicely made. And I went ahead to cut the top of my zip away because I won't be needing that. So now I'm going to turn my pant around and notch on the crotch, you know, the curvy part of the crotch. This is just to ease the seam and to allow it to relax properly. Next, we'll be working on the pocket. So this is the pocket piece and we have the pocket facing. Now I'm going to place the right side of the pocket against the right side of the pant and sew in 1/2 inch. You remember that 1/2 inch allowance we added on our pattern. So we're going to sew that in. And once we are done, we'll turn it around and top stitch these two together. Now let's run the first stitch. Now I'm running my 1/2 inch stitch along the pocket curve. Next, notching the curve. Remember to do this whenever you sew curved edges together. so this just helps relax the seam. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to top stitch by 1/4 of an inch. So this is the front of my pant. I'm sewing my top stitch along the pocket curve. So this stitch needs to be neat. You may even use another color of thread, a matching color of thread of course, to act as like a decorative stitch. So it really needs to be a very neat stitch. Now this is what our pockets look like so far. So next you're going to pick up the corresponding pocket facing. Make sure you are picking the right one, and we'll place the right side against the right side of the pocket. So when you do this, be sure you're using the right one so that the knit or the right side of the facing faces the front. Now I'm sewing the pocket facing and the pocket piece together by 1/2 an inch from the base to the horizontal part and to the top of the pocket. Once I'm done with this, I'll go ahead and repeat the entire pocket fixing process for the other side of my pant. Now I need to hold in my dart on the both sides of the front. So remember the notch I marked for the dart position, and also the mark I made to indicate the apex of my dart. So from the top of my pant, I'm going to take in 1/2 inch from that notch. So I'm folding the notch. So I'm going to sew 1/2 inch from the top and we'll create a dart. And I'll be doing same for the other side as well. Now this is what the pant looks like so far, with our pocket feeds, darts sewn in, the zipper fly in place. I'm just going to set it aside so I can work on the back. So this is the back of the pant. We have 2 pieces for the back as well, and layered with a lining as well. Also I've interlocked the sides just like I did for the front. So I'm going to sew in the crotch of the back by 1/2 an inch from the top, and this is what it looks like. I went ahead to sew in my dart. Remember the way we did it for the front, so I did exactly the same thing for the back. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to lay my front on the back so I can sew in the inseam. So I'm just going to take that edge of the crotch and I'm making sure the seams align with each other. So I'll be opening up the seam allowance so we can have a neat finishing along that edge. So I'm going to sew by 1/2 an inch from that point to each side of my pants. So I'm done doing that. The next thing is to sew in the sides of the pants by 1/2 an inch. So I'm just holding the pockets facing on the pocket so it doesn't start shifting around. So now I'm going to pin down the sides of my pants from the top to the bottom, just so I can sew in 1/2 an inch. So come with me, let's make our side seams by 1/2 an inch. So from the top of the pants through the pocket. So at this side of the pocket, it's not compulsory, but I'm just going to raise the base of the pocket because I want it to be free. So I'm going to continue sewing by 1/2 an inch till I reach the hem of the pant. Note that I'm using 1/2 an inch simply because that was the allowance I added when I was cutting my pattern. So assuming you added like 1 inch extra allowance, go ahead and sew in 1 inch. At this point, you can cross-check the hip, thigh, knee, and ankle circumferences If it's yours, you can test fit it before putting the band. But note, however, that this waistline, it's not yet your waistline. The real waistline is what you have on the band, so don't worry about that just yet. Just be sure you have exactly your waistline on the band. So now we'll be working on the band, and first we're working on the front band. So I'm putting the two pieces of the band together, the front side facing each other, and I'm sewing in by 1/2 inch along the center front. So I'll do same for both sides of the front piece. So 1/2 inch before I get to the top of the band, I put in my needle and turn the band around so I can have a sharp corner at that edge. So I continue sewing by 1/2 inch to the side of the band. So remember, the band is slightly curvy, so I'm just going to place tiny notches along the top just so to ease the seams, and I'll turn the band around to reveal the front. So first, at that corner, I'm cutting out the seam allowance. So then I'll turn my band around, push out that corner. So we have a front band. So I'll do the same on the other side. For the back band, however, I will only sew in 1/2 inch at the top. I don't need to close in the side. Remember, we cut the back band on fold. Once you're done sewing, go ahead and give the bands a good press. I've done that to mine. So this is the back band, and I'm notching the midpoint. So now we need to sew these bands together. This is one side of the front. We're going to attach the sides of the front to the back. So the left side of the front band will be attached to the left side of the back band, and then the right side of the front band will be attached to the right side of the back band, and we're going to sew the sides in by 1/2 inch. While sewing, be sure to follow the slant on the sides of the band, and at the midpoint, open up the seam for both the front and the back band. So I held in my needle here just so I can turn the band and follow the slant properly, with my seams at the center well opened up. Okay, so we are done with this process, and we have a long stretch of band. So I'm just attaching the other side of the band to the back, and once I'm done, it will be time to attach the band to the main pants. Okay, so we have this super long band now. Remember the notch I took at the center back? What we want to do now is to attach the band, one side of the band actually, to the pants. So we're going to pick the right side of the band facing the right side of the back piece. I'm going to align the center back seam together with the center back of the band. So I'm just going to use pin from this point to hold in my band to the main pant all around it. If you notice at this point, if you created a notch on your band, that's at that point, that positioning when you were cutting, so you need to align the notch with the dart, and also the side seams of the band should align with the side seams of the pant. So this won't be a problem if you took the right measurements and you followed all the processes so far. So right now I'm just pinning one side of the band to the main pant. That's one piece of the band. Remember, our band is a double layered band. So I'm holding one piece of it to the main pant and holding it down with a pin, aligning all the notches and the side seams together. We are almost done. Once I'm done, we're going to sew this two together by 1/2 inch. So just one piece of the band, remember. This is the zip part of our pant. Now I'm just sewing in my 1/2 inch seam, joining the two pieces we just attached together with a pin. So I'm pulling out the pins and making my seams by 1/2 inch. Now we are done with that. So we have a neat looking front side, but then we need to finish up this inner side. So the next thing we'll be doing is to hold in 1/2 inch. So we'll be holding in 1/2 inch from the center front. We'll be securing it with a pin. So that's just our sewing allowance. We'll hold in that sewing allowance and we'll be holding it in with a pin all round from one center front to the back and to the other center front. Now I'm done pinning. I'll just go onto the ironing table and give this band a very good press. That's just going to make the sewing process a lot more easier. Once I'm done ironing, I'm going to sew in the band, top stitching from the front by 1/8 inch. So while you do that, you have to ensure the inner band is properly held in and not shifting out of the seam you're creating. So you just need to keep cross-checking and sew in a very neat stitch because this part is going to be showing outside. So we're going ahead to sew now. This process, you just have to be very kind to yourself. Remember, you're sewing two slightly curvy edges together. So just gently ease them into each other and sew gradually. Your seam here needs to be neat at the front and be sure not to miss the other part of the band at the back. Here is the final look of my band after top stitching. So you can go ahead and attach a hook on the overlapping part of the band. Onto the last thing we'll be doing on this pant, we'll be folding in the hemming allowance. So I'm going to fold in my 2.5 inches allowance. If you are taking 2 inches allowance, go ahead and fold in 2 inches allowance. You can either sew it down or you use a hemming glue to iron in that part. Finally, we are done. This is the favorite part of the whole show. So this pant is well fitting on all the right places. I'm so very proud of myself right now. So go ahead and make yours. Be sure to follow all the processes and you have a neatly finished fitted pants like mine. Thank you very much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe, like, share our content, and see you in the next one. Thank you.